Here's my review of Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. This was honestly a really fun movie, and full disclosure, I've never seen a Wallace and Gromit film. Like I'm familiar with Wallace and Gromit, but I've never seen any of the movies. But I liked it. It was a lot of fun, and in this movie, one thing that kind of threw me off a little bit is it feels like a sequel. I'm pretty sure it is a direct sequel to a previous one, but because our main villain is this chicken or this penguin, it's a running joke throughout the movie actually, who is locked away by Wallace and Gromit, but I don't really know that because I've never seen the previous movie, so it did feel kind of weird. And I will say, seeing like this penguin do this clever escape to break out of the jail is really fun. There's a lot of fun, and this whole movie is basically like this diamond heist movie, especially like by this penguin. And I will say, for a character that doesn't speak, one thing I think that is so good about this movie, though, especially with also like with Gromit as well, is like so much emotion just by like the just not like the emoting rather than like even the eye work rather than speaking because they don't speak, which I really appreciated. I thought it was a lot of fun. And we do understand like why this penguin wants to like go after Wallace and Gromit. And like I said, there's a lot of fun to be had with this movie. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I will say there's quite a bit of subplot. Like this is pretty complex plot, I feel like, for the most part, because a big part of with these subplots too is like with what Wallace is trying to do. Like what Wallace does is introduces this, like he builds this robot gnome because he sees that Gromit is kind of working too hard. And so then there's this like subplot of like Gromit kind of feeling jealous of this gnome, and then it kind of kicks into the real plot of this penguin essentially hacking this gnome and all the other gnomes because Wallace builds a lot of them and like gives them to his neighbors and then like kind of turns in like this really complex plot. And then they basically become evil, which this movie is honestly quite funny, I feel like, especially with like of course our main leads, Wallace and Gromit, but also this penguin character is pretty funny too, even unintentionally considering he doesn't talk, obviously. Like I said, this police character, Anya Doorstep, is really fun. Such a clever pun, too, right there. Anya Doorstep. It took me a minute, and then when I got it, I thought it was really funny. Because she's, through, like, this whole case of this diamond, like, theft is basically, like, her first big, like, case that she's trying to do. She's a very fun character. That's one thing I find so enjoyable about this world is just all the characters are just so fun. And I will say, like, animation, I never really liked it as a kid. Like, it always kind of creeped me out, but it definitely kind of grew on me. That's why I never really watched them as a kid, because it always just looked weird. But it kind of grew on me, and I liked it. And I will say, like I said, just there's not really a lot of depth to this movie. Like I said, but the animation itself is awesome, I think. I really liked it. And these, like, evil gnomes are a lot of fun. And that's what this movie is. It's fun. I don't think it's like it's just a solid, good movie. And like I said, I think, honestly, I feel like the characters with the most depth might actually be this cop character on your doorstep, because it feels like she actually has, like, this character arc of trying to, like, prove herself. There is kind of a mini character arc with Wallace himself, considering, like, he almost is kind of ignoring Gromit throughout this movie, and then, so there's a lot of learning for him. And I will say, like, that is a pretty good character arc, I'd say. At least for a movie that's as short and simple as this. And like I said, just this whole diamond plot is just a lot of fun, especially like with this penguin character, considering like like just how it's just kind of creepy is. Like, of course, obviously, like I said, he doesn't talk, but just all his movements and just the animation is just so unnerving but kind of funny. It's just a lot of fun. And like I said, it kind of leads into this also like framing, as this penguin's trying to frame Wallace. And then there's like a plot of them trying to clear his name. And it's just a lot of fun to be had here. So yeah, if you like animated movies and if you like Wallace and Gromit, I'm sure you'll definitely like this. And like I said, this is basically my introduction to these characters because I've never seen a Wallace and Gromit film before. And I really like it. I can definitely see the appeal. I definitely like just how... One thing that's interesting is how Wallace as a character is just this obvious genius but at the same time is very oblivious, which makes him a very fun character. And then Gromit being more of the straight man. But it's a very fun movie with some fun animation and genuinely, like I'd say, surprisingly deep characters, especially for how short this movie is. Um, like I said, I think it's surprisingly pretty funny, and it's just a solid time. So yeah, like I said, if you like animation, if you like Wallace and Gromit, if you like comedies, I'm sure you're gonna like it. Well, I will say, don't like expect some super grand emotional beats, an emotional payoff, and dramatic crying. But like I said, it's funny. I like the animation. The characters are fun, and it does have, I think, a good character arc for Wallace himself, and just a pretty just solid movie, a fun time.